Welcome back to Elevation 44. It's your girl B. If you're new to the channel, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back, family. So today we are diving into the Aquarius full moon because I promised you this video, and you know one thing that I am here on this channel is consistent. So here is your monthly full moon video. We are diving into part one of 2 videos. So this is all about the Aquarius full moon for July, which is going to be part 1. And then we're going to be having a part 2 to this, which is the Aquarius full moon that we're going to experience in August. But this one we're going to be experiencing on July 23rd, and it's going to be happening at 10:36 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So of course you have to translate that to your local time zone. Like I said, this is going to be the first of 2 Aquarius full moons. What's interesting about the full moons that we're going to be experiencing in the sign of Aquarius is that this full moon is happening at the very first degree of Aquarius, and the August full moon is happening at the 29th, or the very last degree of Aquarius. Now each zodiac sign has 30 degrees, and the degrees matter in terms of astrology because the degrees are the different expressions of that zodiac sign's energy. So when a zodiac sign has earlier degrees, just like how we're having this full moon at the first degree, it's more of the immature qualities of that zodiac sign's energy, the expression of it. The way it expresses itself is different, is pretty much what I'm trying to say. So it's kind of more of the immature qualities. It does not make it bad. It just makes it something that is new and needs to be matured, right? But by the time you get to that 29th degree, you have been through, you have grown up, you have experienced it all, and you are now in that more mature energy of that sign's, qualities or expression. So it's just thinking about it in terms of like a baby. A baby has to enter this world, learn and grow and progress, and by the time you get to adulthood, or you're in your 80s, you pretty much got it all down. You've experienced life, you know what it is. And so that is kind of the same thing here. So I hope that makes sense to you all, and that's easy for you to digest on why the degrees matter. The second reason why we pay attention to the degrees is because if you are also into numerology, you can get additional insight into the energy that is present or surrounding whatever is happening based off of the numerology or the numbers present. Now, 1 in numerology really signifies, beginnings, new beginnings. It's like the new venture. It's like the start, the initiation. So that is also something that also plays into this. So what we're seeing here, especially with these 2 full moons at the first degree and the last degree in the sign of Aquarius, there's a start of a cycle. This is like a mini cycle that is opening up for us. There's a mini cycle that looks like what is present based off the energy is there are challenges and things that we need to work through in this mini cycle. But by the time we get to the end, if we have done the work, there is a reward, there is success, there is happiness, there's optimism, there's an opportunity, that's what I want to say, to transform in this process. So what does that mean for you individually? That is something that you will definitely need to look at your own natal chart to get more additional insight into on how that affects you personally. And I always leave those details in the description box down below where you could pull up your natal and transit chart, and how you can find that information. You also will need your birth time. You will need your birth location and all that information in order to find the most accurate, because you're going to be looking at your house placement to see that area of focus. Okay, so again, that's down in the description box. Another thing you want to look at is the themes or the things that you were working with or setting intention for during the Aquarius new moon back in February, because the new moons and the full moons coincide together. There are cycles that work in tangent. So 6 months apart, the work that started at the new moon should be coming to some type of cultivation. You should be seeing some type of progress or something, now during the full moon. So the fact that we also have this double full moon, you want to look back to your Aquarius new moon, look at the notes, and that's why I always encourage you to write down your intentions and to be, you know, just documenting the things that you're doing, because then you can see the progress and see how things are progressing along the way. So also look back to that to kind of gain some additional insight for yourself personally. But on a collective level, let's just talk about the the energy that we're going to be experiencing and feeling together. There is just, we're going to be experiencing a lot of tension. So we have the Uranus that is going to be at tension with this moon, okay? And Uranus is currently in Taurus. We have Saturn that is in Aquarius that is going to be conjuncting this moon, okay? And then we have Mars that is currently in Leo, and that is going to be at opposition with this moon, and that is going to be adding some fuel to the fire as well. And we're going to dive into kind of what that means when we get into the transits, okay? But with the moon in Aquarius, typically this is a very unemotional type of energy, right? Moon is really speaking to our emotions, it's speaking to our inner needs and all of that. But when it's placed in the sign of Aquarius, Aquarius likes to kind of step back from the emotional thing, doesn't do the emotional thing very well, kind of steps back and wants to view things objectively, wants to be more so from the, you know, the head, and not really from the heart in an emotional way. It's like the head then translates to the heart decisions, but it's not, you know, in the typical like where the moon is in Cancer type of way, where it's very emotionally based, very sensitive, very feely. It's more so like, you know what, I'm stepping back, I'm gonna view this objectively to make the best decisions because I care and I want to advance things. I want to advance humanity. I want to do what's right for my fellow brethren, my brothers and sisters, but you know, it's not going to be from a place where I'm just moving all over the place emotionally. So that is really the energy that when the moon is in Aquarius, you'll feel kind of more of that coldness, people say, but it's more so just a detachment, so that, you know, there's an ability to process in a more clear way and not in an emotional based thinking way, right? So another thing that when the moon is in Aquarius, the energy is unpredictable, and you know, we're going to talk about that in a little bit, but you know, it's just going to be unpredictable. There's change, there's progression, there's things happening, but it is very like a lot of the times unexpected, fast-paced coming in, and that can leave a lot of us unsettled. All right, there is a high value also when the moon is in this sign on independence and freedom, okay? Pushing for social justice, humanitarianism, again, advancing society and advancing the collective. That's really, you know, because there is a caring, like I want to see everybody do well, I want to see us all become better. So that is a lot of the qualities when the moon is in Aquarius. So let's get into the facts about this Aquarius energy. So the element is air, so this is very, again, about thinking and about communication. The quality or the mode is fixed, so it's very stubborn, very rootly, like planted firmly in its beliefs and its ideals, and wanting to just stick with what it's made its mind up on. All right, the planets that rule this energy are Uranus, which we're going to talk a lot about, which is kind of like the feature planet, which is all about you know, change, progression, you know, freedom, advancement, innovation, originality, all of that stuff. And then we have the traditional ruler, which is Saturn, and Saturn is again another major player in this particular full moon. So we're going to be seeing these two highlighted here a lot, but the fact that they both rule Aquarius's energy is something that we also definitely need to pay attention. And Saturn is really our limitations, our restrictions, our goals, the things that, you know, we're working towards. So yeah, Saturn is in the mix here. And then we have the house that this rules, Aquarius rules, is the 11th house, and this is the house of I like to call it the manifestation house because it's our hopes, our dreams, our biggest wishes. Like when we think big picture thinking, which is very Aquarius energy. And then we also have, you know, friends, our networks, collaboration, community. That's a lot of the energy of the 11th house. And then the polarity to this energy, which we always talk about, which is the opposite energy to this one on the zodiac wheel, is Leo. And that's why, you know, when you're having a particular zodiac season, like right now we're going into Leo season, the full moon is always going to be in the opposite or polarity, because that is the opposition, that is the balancing of energies that are required to have balance. So Leo is really a lot about the individual, about the self, and Aquarius is a lot about others and the advancement of the collective. So that is the difference in the polarity between that. The gifts of Aquarius energy is open-minded, original or unique, independent and intuitive, progressive, very giving, idealistic, communicative, right? The challenges are unemotional, detached, like we talked about, very rebellious, unpredictable, and inflexible. The focus for this full moon is very simple. It really is all about directing our energy where it matters. Now, there is a certain level of things that we can control, and there's a certain level of things that are kind of out of our control. And it's really about funneling your energy or directing your energy towards the things that are in your control, the things that matter, and not allowing the things that you don't have any control over to suck your energy, to drain your energy down to where you're not going to be effective. And that is how we make the most change. That is how, you know, things are going to progress or advance or move forward in a better way for us, again, not just individually but collectively. And that's what we need. So that is really the simplicity of the focus of this full moon. The challenges, the restrictions, the things that you're feeling is to get you to release that. The more you fight it, the more you try to control, the more you get irritated, you know, the more you're just going to drain your battery down and you're just going to be ineffective. And that is not what you want. We always want to be, you know, advancing, progressive, growing. We have things that we have our eyes set on, the things that we're trying to do together. We're moving up together, and we can't allow these things to drag us down. Okay, so that really is the focus. And let's get into the transits, because when I get into the transits, you're gonna see that there is just a lot, you know, being thrown at us, and it is our ability to release and to let go of that, and not to be anxious and to be in fear and to be operating from that space, our anger. It's going to be the things that the way we deal with it in that way, that is going to get us to that end of the cycle where we, you know, are in a completely different space, where we do have the reward, where we do have the optimism and the positivity and the success. Okay, so this is really about a paradigm shift. It's shifting your mind and your energy and redirecting it. Okay, so the transits, the first one that is going to be happening is that the moon is going to be conjuncting Saturn. Okay, and a conjunction is just the blending of two energies. Now, Saturn is very, it's very hard energy. It's restricted. It's limiting. It is about responsibility. It's about more of the tough lessons and about the grit of life and getting the things done. Saturn can be very challenging, and it can be very rewarding. But when Saturn is conjunct the moon, and the moon is really our emotions, our inner needs, kind of our inner selves and our inner space, it can bring on a pessimistic outlook. It can bring on a depressive, you know, feel or mindset. And one thing, honestly, that I want to share with you that that has been helping me, and that probably will help you with this particular energy. And this is definitely true because Chiron has just been acting up, especially with all my Cancer placements. So I have this Organite pyramid, and I don't know if it's focusing. If it's not, I'll pop in a picture so that you can see it. But this was actually sent to me by one of my subscribers over at a company she owns called Simple Spirit. And this Organite pyramid helps, this one in particular, helps bring in peace and positivity. And this has helped me in my space so much. So if you don't know what an Organite pyramid is, it is used to balance out the energy in a space. And so this has balanced out the energy in my space, also bringing in that peace and positivity that I so need at this time. So if you are into these types of things, and then like in terms of like balancing the energy in your space or in your home or with yourself, I would definitely go ahead and check them out. I will leave the details down in the description box. And also I asked, because I love this so much, and they have some of the most unique Organite pyramids I have ever seen, okay? And I loved it so much, I went ahead and asked for a discount code so that I could share with you all, so you can tap into this if you like this stuff as well, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and leave that down at the bottom of the screen, and also the link in the description box, okay? So I hope that you guys enjoy that little tidbit. You know, I don't share much on this channel in terms of items, but if I find something helpful, I'm definitely going to share it with you as well. So what comes in here is you kind of have more of these pessimistic thoughts. Our emotions kind of go more into a detached, cold way. People say cold, but it's just kind of detached. It's more pessimistic. It's more about the challenges and restrictions and limitations coming in that you feel because, you know, you're not able to have. Again, Saturn and Aquarius is all about that freedom, right? Aquarius is all about that freedom, that independence. So it's all of these things that are preventing that freedom and that independence for you, okay? So the fight for that, and you wanting that, and you feeling limited or frustrated by that, is definitely giving you a really negative mindset. And again, let it go. Let it go. It's also, the moon's also going to be having tension with Uranus, all right? Uranus, again, we talked about Uranus. Uranus is about that change. It's about that progression, but it's unpredictability. It's wild change. It's like things that you can't imagine. Sometimes for the better, you know, but again, it's like being on a roller coaster. You just don't know what dips and turns are coming next. It's a ride, and you just have to ride sometimes and just let it go. With it being in Taurus, this is all about security. This is about our security. Also, it's about our resources, because Taurus is over the earth. It's over the earth energy. So it's about our money. It's about all the material resources in terms of food, the land, you know, all kinds of stuff, right? Gas. It's about the weather patterns. It's all about all of that type of stuff. So when Uranus is here, Uranus is just bringing change here. It's bringing progression, but it's bringing unpredictability. Things are unstable while Uranus is here. So with that tension happening here, it is causing impulsive reactions from us, okay? There's a rebellious nature also happening here. Very little patience for BS. That is literally the mood. Very little patience for the BS, okay? There's anxiousness, there's fear about changes, because Taurus is a very security seeking sign, and to be a very security seeking sign, it really is all about you having a sense of control, a sense of knowing what's coming, a sense of not having to get out of your comfort zone, you know, and move when you don't want to move, or be forced into something. And, you know, a lot of that is happening. A lot of that is happening where we feel like the change is being forced upon us. And to be honest, when do most human beings ever just say, you know what, I'm just going to open my arms and welcome change? No, it really doesn't happen like that. Usually change is something that is, you know, forced upon you, because then you probably would not change at all, because then you'll just stay in your comfort zone. And the comfort zone does feel good, and it is necessary to sometimes, but the comfort zone is also a place that can become dangerous, because there is no growth in the comfort zone. Then you also have Mars, okay, in the mix. So the moon is going to be having opposition with Mars, and Mars is in the sign of Leo. Now Mars in Leo is good because Mars functions well in Leo's energy. It's very direct. It wants to take leadership and authority, and it sees something, it wants to finish something. It really wants to direct its energy in a I want to say in a really good leadership type of way in Leo. But the flip side to that energy is that it can be very, very ripe for popping off, because this energy, Mars in Leo, has no patience for the BS either. Can get very egotistical, very like, I know better, and you're not going to control me. I'm going to do what I got to do. This is about my journey and what I want to do, and I'm going to make it happen, and I'm not seeing anything else. So that's the flip side to that energy. So again, the pop-off energy is real because that opposition between the moon and Mars makes you ready to want to fight. Like, it's like, I'm gonna pop off, but you get in my face, it's gonna go down. Okay, so anger and temper is in full swing with this, and again, it all ties back to that ego and having that bruised and feeling some type of, whatever it be, whether it be in terms of restriction or limitation, somebody telling you no, somebody trying to tell you can't do that, and you want to do this, or you see this as the right way, and it doesn't matter. That pop-off energy is real, that anger is real. Again, releasing the things that you can't control and letting it go. Okay, so here's some of the herbs and crystals that I recommend you working with during this time. They're going to be calming, so that you bring down that level of anger, that level of anxiety, fear, frustration, and all of that stuff that you might be feeling as a result of this energy, as the challenges pop up during this time, and help you deal with that. Lavender, kava, chamomile, peppermint, ashwagandha. Okay, the crystals that I would recommend also working with, aquamarine definitely is going to be calming. It's also going to give you hope. Okay, tiger's eye, that is going to help stimulate or trigger or drive your personal power. Again, we talked a lot about our personal power and our energy. I also would recommend amethyst, and then hematite, which is really, really grounding, which is going to keep us keep us calm, keep us down instead of popping off, because there's a lot of fire energy during Leo season. Okay, the only ritual I'm really going to recommend, and there's like multi-layers to the ritual or multiple ways that you can spin off, is solar plexus chakra healing. Okay, so your solar plexus chakra is your personal power center. I have an entire video where I talk about your solar plexus chakra, but this also controls not only your ability for personal, your personal power and your control and your direction and your drive and everything like that. It also controls a lot of the times, your personal fears and things like that. So I would definitely recommend working on, if you are struggling, balancing this energy center. Again, it's about that personal power activation. So maybe you are the person who needs to activate your personal power in certain ways, and maybe you are the person on the flip side who needs to learn how to release or relinquish control in certain ways, or certain fears or certain things like that. So that is really the only ritual I'm going to recommend because of this energy and what we have going on. I have the solar plexus chakra oil that I use, and I show you in that video as well. I'm gonna link that down in the description box below. Aquarius, gang. I don't know many of y'all, but I'm gonna shout you out anyway. Where are my Aquarius moons at? Hit me down below. I don't know. I think I know like one Aquarius moon. I think. So hit me down with your placements down below, or any of your other Aquarius placements. If you got Jupiter, Saturn, and Aquarius, and you're experiencing your Jupiter, your Saturn return, hey, you know, hit me down in the comments below. If you have any other Aquarius placements, what house does Aquarius rule on your chart? Let me know how you guys have been dealing with the energy. Was Cancer season rough for y'all? Because it was a little rough for your girl. So hit me down below and let me know about that as well. Happy full moon. Just, you know, hold on, move through the challenges. If you learn the lesson here and you learn how to redirect your energy, I'm telling you, that full moon that's coming in August is a whole nother vibe, and it is a reward for the work that we have put in now to shift our paradigm. Okay, so I will see you all in the next video. Have a good one. Peace.